Hey Velomobile fans. This was going to be a 500 kilometer review, and I've now recorded the audio multiple times, but between the time when I wrote up my thoughts and started compiling the video, I passed 900 kilometers and had some great chats with Katanga. We'll start with comfort since that's a key advantage of recumbents. The seat has a fair bit of adjustment, and I was able to find a good position for me pretty quickly. Obviously, since it requires tools to move the seat, it's not going to be quite as quick to adjust as some models, but it does offer a very stable seat position for good power transfer. I also made stiffer 3D printed seat pads for a bit more performance boost, although whether they help or not, I haven't been able to measure that. The headrest didn't work out for me because of my short torso, so I designed and printed a neck pad that took care of the neck pain I was getting. The ergonomics of the tank steering are much more comfortable than I expected and haven't caused the back problems I was worried about. The location of the electrical controls are intuitive and easy to reach, and I love the perfect ergonomics of the thumb shifters. I'd still like to add elbow rests, but I haven't figured out the right design. The WAW has a stiffening rib along the wall, so I'm working out a design that would work around that. The turning circle was the primary reason I wanted open wheel wells. It's just right for the bike path riding I do. I do find the steering action a bit stiff, and it took me some time to adjust to the handling, much like adjusting to the steering on different recumbent bikes. While I wouldn't personally mind a bit lighter action, that stiff action does mean that handling is very stable, and I can even ride for short periods hands-free. Living in the open fields of Zeeland, I have lots of wind to ride in, and I've been very pleased with how controllable the WAW is in heavy, even 7 to 8 Beaufort crosswinds. For those not familiar with Beaufort, that's very windy. It also gets a really nice boost from tailwind, as I experienced riding home the other night from music rehearsal. Cargo capacity has been the biggest surprise for me. The WAW is reputed to have limited capacity, and I'm not sure what that's based on because I can fit more in than I could in any of my previous Velomobiles. In fact, I made a video specifically about this that you can check out for a more in-depth analysis. The raised hood is a mixed bag for me. I really like the visibility in all directions with nothing to block the view, and airflow is great when the visor is open a little bit. I also like that it can be removed and stowed behind the seat because rain can happen with very little warning in the Netherlands. However, fogging can be an issue, albeit controllable by opening the visor, and visibility in the rain is a problem that I'd like to address. I have a nice wiper blade in my web shop, but Macrolone visors are easily scratched. Katanga is sending me some visor material to experiment with. We're looking at a possible thicker visor with anti-scratch folia or spray, and I'm confident we're going to find a solution, and once it's properly tested, this will be something that can be retrofitted to older WOWs and available in my web shop. The same technology could easily be applied to other Macrolone visors, and I'm thinking about offering a conversion kit once this is tested in my web shop. For fogging, I'm going to try installing one of the anti-fog stick-on visor inserts I sell in my shop. I see Passion Velomobile experimented with that recently with very good success. I haven't found the perfect spot yet for my GPS. The most ideal spot is taken up by the factory installed computer, which I should have requested an alternate installation location for. On my project list is an adaptation of the mount for my current modular GPS system that will allow me to bolt it to the dashboard in the WOW. Maintenance access, of course, is really good. It does take a moment to remove the tail and nose, of course, but once they're off, it's easy to access everything. Tweaks to the shifting are simple to make, and it's nice to be able to see what I'm doing rather than fumbling in small dark holes. The wheel covers could use, and mine will soon get, holes to access the axle bolts. Katanga is also seriously thinking about gluing the covers onto the wheels going forward, at which point they'll make holes for the bolts in the covers standard. I ordered the lightweight rims and have found mounting Pro 1 Super Race on them pretty challenging. I might try tubeless at some point with those tires, but for now I switched to Schwalbe 1s, which are easier to remove in the event of a flat in cold weather. And I'm also contemplating trying latex tubes since I sell them in my web shop anyway. I've ridden in plenty of rain now, and it appears water comes in through the air intake in the nose and pools on the floors, so I need to drill some drain holes in the bottom of the nose. There also tends to be some water coming in through the left rear drain holes, so floor mats or dry bags would be helpful to keep things from getting wet. Katanga thinks the water might be running along the bottom while riding and coming up through the holes. Katanga is also sending me some material to experiment with to design floor mats for the WAW. I don't really have any basis to compare speed with, having only briefly ridden a Quattro Velo here. My comfortable cruising speed is around 30 to 35 kilometers per hour, which is in line with what I've had in other Velomobiles in similar conditions. With it being winter, speeds of course are lower, and to be honest, speed is not my main reason for a Velomobile. It stays sufficiently warm inside. If I were in a colder climate, I might want to close off the air intake in the nose, but for Dutch winter, it's just right. I can't comment on cooling in hot weather yet, but with the option to ride with a larger cockpit opening, I think cooling will be sufficient. I've had a number of comments about my choice of no rear suspension. I've been over my share of cobbles, cracks in the path, and bricks now, and I've not had any issues with losing control, including a very big bump the other night when I misjudged the edge of the path in the dark. I've also been surprised by the comfort. It doesn't feel that much harsher than spring-based rear suspension. If I were riding in the US with frequent potholes, I might choose rear suspension. I've ridden with the WAW's air suspension in the past, and I remember it being very plush. The acceleration, of course, is better without rear suspension, and with the frequent stops and starts riding bike paths I have, this is quite useful. If you're wondering why it took me so long to accumulate my mileage, it's because my riding situation has changed since moving. Being new to the Netherlands, I've been exploring the sights on my weekend rides. For that, my recumbent bike is often the better choice in the narrow, busy city centers. The WAW is my choice for longer commutes, such as the flat route to Terneuzen, where I can cruise without stopping, and of course when the weather is particularly cold, wet, and windy. However, in recent weeks I've found myself reaching consistently for the WAW, mostly because I enjoy not arriving with cold hands and face. If you're thinking, well, you've said great things about every model of Velomobile you've owned, you'd be right. Every Velomobile has something good to offer. It's just a question of whether those things are what you need. The WAW is a good choice for people like me who want easy maintenance access, comfort, cargo space, and affordability over just pure speed. Of course, it also is a good option for those wanting electric assist, especially since a hub drive can be installed directly at the factory. So far, the WAW has held up really well to the abuse I've subjected it to. The build quality is excellent. I've not needed to contact Katanga about any issues, though if I did, I know I'd have excellent customer support. For me, the WAW has been just what I needed and anticipated that it would be. If you're interested in learning more about the WAW, I'd be happy to talk with you. I'm Katanga's newest dealer, and I've got a perfect location for test rides on a variety of surfaces, all on low to no traffic roads and bike paths here in Zeeland. I'm in the heart of the beach tourist area with lots of great accommodation options nearby, including camping, making this a perfect place for a weekend getaway or a longer vacation with a test ride fit into the schedule. There's a ton of great cycle routes in the area, which I've been exploring myself, so be sure to bring your bike and check out my ride videos. I'm also looking at developing a map grading surfaces of the many trails and roads, along with recommended routes. In fact, I'd like to write a guidebook to cycling in this area of Zeeland that I would make available on the new website that I'm working on. Anyone is welcome to come for a test ride, whether you're in the US, UK, EU, or any other market. In addition, with my background in importing Velomobiles for several years to the US, I also can offer assistance to the US market for purchasing and importing a WAW. As always, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.